Welcome, everybody. I'm Jude Kelly. I founded WOW Women of the World 11 years ago now. And since then, some of the most amazing women have picked it up, transported it to their own place, and used it as the base material for making their own amazing festivals. And we're going to be talking to some of those women in this session, and then you'll meet others in other sessions that I'm doing until you can see some of the kind of great breadth and depth that the WOW movement is accomplishing because of these extraordinary female leaders. So I'm joined today, as I say, by three of them. Ifra Iqbal from Bangladesh, Cynthia Chiang from Taiwan, and Cathy Hunt from Australia. And there you all are. Hello. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Hi. Just to give us a kind of a sense of geography here, Ifra, you're sitting at the moment in probably a completely different temperature than me outside my window. By the way, for those of you who can't see me, I'm blonde, I'm 5'2", I'm wearing a blue blouse, and I'm in my 60s, and I'm sitting on a yellow chair. But I'm looking out the window as I am now. It's pretty gloomy and not at all sunny and quite cold. But what's it like where you are, Ifra?
Hi, Jude, and hi, everyone else. I'm Ifra, and I have a crazy head of curls right now. And I'm in my room right now. And it's pretty humid and very sunny when I look out the window right in front of me. And yes, it's a big contrast to where you are right now.
Okay, and Cathy Hunt, there you are in Brisbane.
Yes, hi everybody. No, very similar actually. Very similar. It's evening. Well, moving into evening now. So, but it's been a very wet day, very wet and hot and humid day. We've had a very wet summer, and the humidity is still with us. So it just cooled off a bit in the last hour or so. But yes, no, it's very different, Jude, from where you are.
And describe yourself and where you are, Cathy.
Describe myself and where I am. Well, I'm the same. I'm a what am I? Who am I?
Just physical. Just the physical.
It's physical. Oh, just the physical. Gosh, I've got rather short, spiky hair at the moment, by the looks of things. Yeah, and orange specs, and I'm sitting down in my living room, just trying to relax and think about what a day it's been, actually.
Okay, perhaps we'll come to that. Cynthia, where you are in WOW Kaohsiung, tell us a little bit what the temperature's like and the climate.
All right, I'm Cynthia. Hello, everyone. I'm in the office, one of the meeting room in our art center. And right now I'm also facing the window. So outside there's a lot of green trees and sunny weather, about a kind of 25 Celsius out there. And I'm having a curl hair, black hair, and wearing a white shirt with leaves on it. And I'm in my 30s, about 30s. Yes.
Great. Okay, so you've got a sense of a picture of the four of us women sitting here and looking at each other on our Zooms, which is sadly all we're able to do. Under normal circumstances, we travel to each other's festivals and we learn from each other's communities and we take part in those festivals. And that's one of the extraordinary things about Women of the World. It feels as if it is a global movement, which only works because we're all prepared to recognize that there isn't any one country that knows how to solve equality. It needs all of us together to think from our different perspectives, and that's what we rely on. So you've heard from just us as women what we look like and where we're sitting at the moment, but let me tell you about the sort of professional background of these amazing women. So I'll start with Cathy Hunt. Cathy was like first out of the gate really quickly, taking the WOW movement and founding it in Australia. She spent her life there, although she's from the UK and we became friends there. She quite early on went to Australia and founded Positive Solutions, and really started looking at how the creative economy and the politics of creativity could be used to transform communities and give tools to communities to make change in their own terms. She's the executive director of this company, of One Mind, which now really works with the WOW Foundation and produces extraordinary festivals, including the one that she did when the Commonwealth Games came to Queensland, which was an extraordinary, admirable thing, because the Commonwealth Games is fraught with all the conversations about Commonwealth, about colonialism, about, what the history is and what the future should be. And Cathy was able to use that platform to have brilliant conversations for women, trans and non-binary. And you've done so many things, Cathy, since then. Tell us a little bit about WOW Australia, the things that you're most excited by and the conversations that you think are most relevant at the moment.
Gosh, the things that I'm most excited by, I think the things that's excited me most has probably been, and this will be for so many of us, was the way we've all survived the shock of last year, in terms of thinking of who we are as this group of people across the world trying to put on these festivals. And the realization that even though our festival in WOW Australia 2020 fell over 3 weeks before it was supposed to happen, and it was that moment where we were, what happens? What do you do? Well, first of all, you work out how you're going to survive. Then you take stock of where you're at and you revive yourselves. And then the word we've been using is then you work out how you're going to thrive into the future. And I think the big shifts that we made to think that WOW is not just a festival, it's a movement. And in being a movement, you can think about the festival is the model that Jude created, which is, just such this fabulous thing, and the thing I still truly believe in, where thousands of women come together over a short period of time and learn from each other and learn about different things. But that ability to suddenly think of new distribution models for the message that we were trying to get across, and to use some of the same structures, but how do you bring all those values, your partners, the ideas with you? And then obviously what's happened in the pandemic and what led to that big fabulous conversation in June around WOW Global 24 was that everything that we've been talking about for the last few years and forever, let's admit it, has now suddenly been magnified. So all those inequalities that we all knew were there, and the intersecting issues around gender, you can see that the spotlight is shining on them. And so I think that has energized us all, I think, to think about, well, this is not the end of everything, which last year could have been the end of everything, but this is actually the start of something new, and potentially something new and bigger and stronger and more explosive than before. So it's very strange. I feel more angry, but more excited about the fact that we have a capacity to probably all work together for the significant change we have to have as we move out of the world we've been in for the last 12 months.
Yes, it's very interesting. I would say in my lifetime, the pandemic is the first fully global event that we as women together can all refer to and say, this happened to all of us. And I think that gives us together a reason for a deeper strategy, because we can say the economic impact on women has affected all of us. The lockdown forcing women back into domestic responsibilities has affected all of us. The rise in domestic violence across the world has affected all of us. And so on, the mental health issues for women being pushed back out of power. So as you say, it can make you angrier, but it can also fuel us up to say, okay, we can hold hands even more strongly now.
And I think with us, obviously, that and across the world also, that the intersection with that and Black Lives Matter, and certainly from a perspective of where we're coming from, with the way we think about and shape WOW Australia, is we put First Nations voices first in everything that we do, and the diversity of voice across everything. Cultures, and everything you can think about in terms of who is a woman, a girl, and where the different voices are. That in itself has strengthened as well, and I think that's the other excitement about moving forward, is that we found different ways of harnessing and working together and thinking about how we do that in a really more powerful, truthful and way than we've ever been able to do.
Yeah, very important thing. The Black Lives Matter really forced people, if they hadn't already, to confront white privilege. It forced people to say, look, which side are you on? You either are fighting against racial inequality or you're complicit in supporting it. And I think that the voices of Indigenous women across the world, First Nations women in Australia, in Canada, in the USA, it's been very, very important for everybody to rethink status completely from scratch and start again. Now, I mean, that's a complex thing to do, but it's a thrilling thing. I often talk about trying to unlearn things that you were taught so that you can start afresh and see the world afresh. I'm going to ask you, Ifra, a little bit about Bangladesh now, because we've done a wonderful WOW Festival in Dhaka, and previously to the WOW Festival in Dhaka, we were part of the Dhaka Literature Festival as a sort of mini WOW. And you yourself you're not that old, but you have a history in using arts to make change. And so we're thrilled that you're now part of the WOW movement in your role at the British Council. You've just been hosting, or you're halfway through hosting, the Think-Ins. So for those of you who don't know, the WOW movement is making, as Cathy says, festivals, but also all kinds of events. But its starting point is bringing together women and girls of all kinds, of all backgrounds, and boys and men, and saying, what are the pressing issues that your life is telling you needs to be thought about and talked about? And it's that sort of mixture that makes us then say, right, this variety of choice is what our festivals must celebrate and explore. So tell us about the Think-Ins and how they're going at the moment in Bangladesh, in Dhaka.
Thanks, Jude. Well, I am right on the heels of finishing the third Think-In. We've done a few so far, which has been the first time we've met different women from different backgrounds during the pandemic. And what it has been an amazing realization of how much a platform like WOW is needed to actually interact, engage, and find out more about what's going on with women everywhere in the world, and particularly for me, I guess, in Bangladesh. So I would just like to share about the context of how WOW is done in Bangladesh so that I can connect to the Think-Ins. So it initially started off in 2017, British Council and WOW Foundation wanted to work and create this platform in Bangladesh and start WOW festivals. And what we thought from Bangladesh is Dhaka, where I reside now, is the capital city. And there are a lot of opportunities and still some mediums where women get to share their issues, their achievements. There's something for everyone. However, outside Dhaka, the capital, there are so many stories, so many realities that every woman and girl essentially is affected by. That was not that there was a possibility of capturing it differently. So what we started doing is we started doing WOW chapters, which, as you mentioned, are also mini versions of the WOW Festival. And based on that, we started our Think-Ins this year, as in very recently. So we've so far done it in Khulna and then Mymensingh and Borishal. And my first experience would be, again, being able to meet women from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different experiences, starting from Indigenous women, women from the transgender community members, and then from religious minorities, along with women who are professors and then are entrepreneurs, as well as from communities that are usually ostracized, and regular people here don't want to even sit with them on the same table. So thanks to the think-ins, we actually sat with them, we discussed with them how things are going on. And I would like to mention a particular incident that happened in Borishal that, again, was very inspiring. At the same time, showed the contrast of reality. So one of the participants was a professor in a local university there, and there was some local unrest going on that day, some protests regarding something or the other. And even though the male members of her family were allowed to go everywhere they wanted, like to work or classes, she was told, you shouldn't go out. It doesn't matter you're going to a British Council or WOW event. You know, you're a woman, you shouldn't go out. You know, there's unrest outside. She basically explained to her parents that it doesn't matter if I'm a woman, I have to go do what I need to do. And then she, you know, attended the think-in and shared her opinions. And I thought, even though we're in 2021 and considering Bangladesh's context, she herself is a professor, by the way. So she does come from some sort of privilege, but still she's held back by her own family just because of her gender. So this has come up in different ways throughout the different think-ins, and a lot of women shared their great experiences about how it has affected them. But along with the rage and discomfort and also confusion about how this doesn't come up enough, it was also very inspiring because the women were very enthusiastic to be able to share their experiences. They just want someone to listen. They are doing the hard work on their own, and they want to share that so that other women are inspired. So that was a great experience. I
know that you yourself are a very committed gender rights person, but you're also a writer, and that sometimes your work has been repressed, hasn't it? It's been so, you know, how do you feel about the creative life of women in Bangladesh and the permission, if you like, to be fully expressive?
So I do dabble in writing, but a lot of it I also want to focus on advocating for women who are doing so much more, and as well as writing, as well as doing different works in different sectors. But when it comes to here in the context of Bangladesh, a lot of things are censored, even by ourselves as well as our communities. Because essentially, if a woman writes something, I have to mention the term woman here, it's essentially ostracized that, oh, she'll only be speaking about women's issues, she will not be talking about anything else. But however, gender equality, as we keep saying through our WOWs and different activities surrounding WOW, it's for everyone. And that is one of the reasons why WOW Festivals is so inclusive, and our work with them is inclusive. And it has caused a lot of women to not always feel like comfortable sharing themselves because of the extra judgment attached to the writing, because it's never seen as everyone's issue. It's always seen as a woman's issue. So it's sort of cornered when it comes to discussions, be it editorials, be it any sort of writing that's shared on online platforms. Essentially, it's, again, put aside, and then everything else comes ahead of the issue that the woman was bringing up. But what people tend to sort of forget is toxic masculinity, or issues that are related to repressing women and men together, sort of creating a toxic culture in the country. That's completely set aside. So that has been an issue that has been going on in general.
I think it's very important for people watching this who perhaps haven't been to Bangladesh, or haven't been to Australia, or haven't been to Taiwan. We're just going to talk about that in a minute, to realize that we really do, as girls and women, share absolutely baseline common issues. Even if a country wants to define itself in the global north as developed, you know, developed is a strange word when you have a pandemic of domestic violence, which we do in the UK. It's a strange word when you still have a situation where investment in women's businesses is 1% compared to 89% from venture capitalists into men's businesses. You know, these are the sort of things which you have to say, well, if we know this about each other, we'll realize how systematic the issue of of forcing people to remain second class is. So that's why we take strength from each other and learn from each other. The woman walking out of her door as a professor in Bangladesh saying, I'm going to that meeting anyway, is drawing on the same spirit, I suppose, as a woman doing the same thing, saying to her family, I'm not looking after my brothers and doing the cleaning here. I'm actually going out for my own life. And I think that, you know, the more we can be global in our understanding, the better. So good luck with the rest of the think-ins. And that I know from my own experience of doing them that they really shape your love actually, of the community that we're all trying to serve because of these extraordinary stories that we're hearing. Cynthia, I'm going to come to you now. So you are, if you like, the newbie here, because you're about to do the very first WOW Festival in Weiwuying. And could you just tell us a little bit about the amazing art centre that's been created in Weiwuying, which I haven't been yet. I'm waiting to go, but it just looks incredible.
Yeah, thank you, Jude. The National Kaohsiung Center for the Arts, Weiwuying, was open since 2018. And the place we are located in, it's originally a metropolitan park, and it used to be in military service. So our Chinese name is kind of like military wording. Okay, and since our opening, first, the architecture of our art center is really great, and it's designed by a Dutch architect, Francine Hoban. She took the inspiration from the banyan trees to create 4 theaters under one roof. So we have 4 theaters in the art center, which is the concert hall, opera house, which is both can encompass for 2,000 audiences, and one playhouse, which can include 1,200 seats, and the recital hall for 400 seats inside. So in total, we can put like 6,000 audiences in our art center at the same time. And I would like to introduce a little bit about the city of Kaohsiung. We are located in the southern part of Taiwan, which is Kaohsiung is the secondary large city besides Taipei, which is the capital city. And we used to be a harbor city, and also a city with a lot of heavy industry, So there are more working class people within the city. And since we opened the art center in 2018, we are still figuring out, like, encourage people to see more performing arts in a theater. And we also is the first national level art center in this city. So Kaohsiung is during its process of transforming into a more arts and cultural city. So I think our art center is playing an important role in the process. And I would like to say a little bit about our team, the relationship between our team and the WOW Foundation. Since 2019, our team keep communicating and talking about hosting a WOW Festival in Kaohsiung. And last year, in March, me and my colleague went to WOW London for the 10 years anniversary of WOW. And we really think the whole festival is really cheerful and have a lot of welcoming to all kinds of people and all kinds of issues. After we went back, I write kind of 50 pages of PowerPoint to introduce the whole festivals to all of my colleagues.
Just the 50.
And yeah, about that size. So I really look forward to hosting a WOW Festival this year in Kaohsiung.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that, because probably many people here haven't been to Taiwan and wouldn't have been to Kaohsiung. How many millions of people live in Kaohsiung? What's the population?
About 2,706,000. Sorry. Yeah.
Nearly 3 million people. And tell me, I mean, you yourself, you have a history in the arts, as do all the women on the call. And we believe that the storytelling of the arts and the energy and the imagination of the arts is the kind of foundation of what WOW is. Even though we talk about health and law and sport and everything that women and girls do, the starting point is this idea of story. And you started as a drummer in a marching band, and then you were a dancer and you're a musician. I mean, I'm saying you're still all those things, of course. But tell me about, quite quickly, but please tell me, where do you think feminism as a word sits at the moment in Taiwan, and you yourself as somebody advocating for gender rights, in Kaohsiung, do you feel there is an appetite just waiting to have this platform?
All right. In Taiwan, we have our first elected female president since 2016. And the same-sex marriage were legalized since 2019. And most of our educated people, especially young people, think we are living in our society is already very progress and with equality, not only with gender, also the status or economic status. However, the WOW Festival or those kind of advocate events or activities are more likely to encourage people to rethink their daily life and think in a critical thinking way, to question all of the situation they face, daily facing. And since we are going to do think-ins in March 13 to 14, we kind of call for our colleagues. By the way, in Weiwuying, we have 180 staff in the art center. So wow. We invite our colleagues, like 10 or 20 colleagues, to gather together and talk about this topic about gender. I just want everybody to forget their position, forget their daily work, their daily job, and think about their experience as a woman or as a man who know some women, or their daily life with their wives and daughters. And I think most of us feel we are live in a gender equal society. However, they still can speak out about, like, when they are young, the brothers can eat when they have a full chicken on the full fish on the table. All of their brothers can eat the best part, and all the sisters can only have the left. So this kind of subtle things still happen in our daily life, but most of us take it for granted. Mm-hmm. And for me, I was studying sociology, so we kind of take feminism classes. So by hosting and presenting WOW festivals, we would like to invite more people to think in critical ways, yes, to question all kinds of these things in their daily life.
I think that's one of what you're touching on, is whether you are, say, in Bangladesh and you're actually actively being told you can't do something, or whether you're in Taiwan and just subtly you're being shown that you're not equal, or whether you are a First Nations woman in Australia and you're literally being told legally that you're not equal until recently. That we together as women have got to say that actually everybody has got to uncover all of these things and admit, because there's a sort of denial that a lot of women have. We're groomed to deny, we're groomed to believe that what is normal is equal, where that's not actually true. So listen, in this short time we've all met, we would normally then say, well, I'll see you in Australia and I'll see you in Bangladesh. We would normally be going to each other's festivals. We would be saying, oh, I can't wait to be in Kaohsiung. But at the moment we can't travel. But for those of you who are watching, this WOW Global Movement relies on us connecting, understanding each other. So what you can do is go on to the different WOW festivals around the world, since we have now sort of pivoted online, and everybody can take part in Cathy's fantastic program, for example, and find out what she's doing. And it isn't just about the festivals at set times of the year, it's the whole program of activity that develops from that, the chapters in Bangladesh, the think-ins, that you're doing in Kaohsiung. So thank you everybody for being the leaders of the global movement. It's tremendously exciting for me to have such a brilliant group of women to work with, to think with, and to change with. And we hope that that's given people watching a bit of a taste of these places. And once travel restrictions are lifted, just book to go to your WOWs around the world. I think that's it, everybody. Have a good day or have a good night, depending on what time of the time zone we're in. And thank you so much, Cathy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Cynthia, and thanks, Ifra. And see you all on the planet in different ways in the future.
See you.
Lovely speaking to you all.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Jude. Good to meet you all.
Bye.
वाओ पाकिस्तान में खुश आमदीद।
वाओ बांग्लादेश से स्वागतम।
Welcome to WOW Apollo.
欢迎来到 WOW 高雄。
G'day! Welcome to WOW in Australia.
Hello! Welcome to WOW in the UK.
Wow, that makes me feel so emotional just to see that energy and that determination. I'm Jude Kelly. I founded the WOW Women of the World movement over 10 years ago, and I did it because I really want gender justice in this century, preferably in my lifetime, but certainly for my daughter and my granddaughter. It's been an incredible time. COVID has made us all see so vividly what happens when you have intersectional injustice, but we also can see the glimmerings of fantastic acts of creativity and resilience where we can see change could be possible right across the world if we see it as systemic and we do it together. For these many years, we've worked with wonderful partners like the Hedges de Marais in Brazil, the Apollo Theatre in New York, the non-for-profit of One Mind in Australia, and the British Council across South Asia. And the result is brilliant festivals and also a kind of network of women, girls, non-binary, trans, who really believe that we can make change happen. And of course, this is about all genders, boys and men too. They are part of this festival, they are part of making change happen. So this month, we've got, coming out of the UK, our 3-week festival online. We've also got festivals in New York, we've got festivals in Australia, we've got festivals in Nepal, in Pakistan, and we're also doing big think-ins. They're moments when all people come together, intersectional, all ages, all backgrounds, to think about what their lived experience means in terms of a festival content, and also to make sure things are both locally relevant but draw on the stories of the whole world. We're connected, and that's what we must understand. All of this injustice is systemic, and all of change needs to be done systemically as well. So these think-ins are both celebratory and revelatory. They really make people see things in a way that they hadn't done before, because you're working alongside people that you probably wouldn't meet in your normal friendship circle. And this is what we need. We need to unlearn things that we've been taught and learn things that we didn't know before. And that makes for a very different set of propositions. So after those think-ins happen, there'll be festivals in Taiwan, there'll be festivals in Western Australia, there'll be festivals in Bangladesh, and of course this movement just keeps going and going. All these fantastic festivals, 157 we've done so far, well, they're great moments, but they also string together to make a movement. And we're putting our hands out to you too, to say, please join us, be part of this movement, be happy about being an activist if you're not one already. We are standing on the shoulders of people who got us votes, they got us education, they got us sexual freedom, they got us so many things. And isn't it our turn to keep this going and to make change happen in our lifetime? I think so. I know you do too, so please join us.